I'm going to go to Nina first. Obviously, a really poor weekend from Chelsea's point of view. The first time since 1975 that Wolves did the double. First time since 75 since Wolves did the double. First time since 1979 they've beaten you in the league at Stamford Bridge. Conceded 4 back-to-back defeats in 11th place. Is this I've seen so many debates about this online. Is it the players? Is it the ownership? Is it the manager? What's going wrong at Chelsea, and how do you fix this crisis? Is it about sacking your manager? Is that something you have to do?
Poor week, Terry. It's been a poor year and a half. poor weekend. No. Look, where do I begin? I think to answer your questions, it's everything. It's all of those things. I blame the top first. I blame ownership, recruitment, sporting directors. Then you can look at the manager. Then you can look at the players. For me, that's the order it goes in, because who appointed Pochettino? The sporting directors and the owners. Yeah, Pochettino, I'm now starting to see what Don's been telling me this whole time. He isn't a good tactical coach. I don't know who said it earlier that he's a good tactical coach, but I don't think that. If I look back at all our games, all I see is freestyle in Chelsea's games, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I can't honestly tell you how we set up and what tactical intent there is on the pitch. What are our patterns of play? What is our vision moving forward? What do we do on the ball? What do we do off the ball? I honestly couldn't tell you. It's freestyle every game. The setup's different. The starting 11 has never been consistent. He arguably doesn't really have a starting 11, you can say. And yeah, that comes down to injuries as well. But frankly, I also think some of the players aren't good enough. And that's on recruitment. You can't bring in a million young players. They're all potential. They're all question marks. How can you possibly build a squad that's fighting to get back into Europe with a bunch of potentials and question marks? What are the odds that most of these players will turn out good? I just think that they sacrificed the present day. They sacrificed Europe for a couple seasons to work on this so-called project, but you don't know if it's going to prosper in another couple years. And frankly, sorry, entitled or not, we're not really going to sit around and wait for that. Okay, one season out of Europe, second season out, but frankly, it's not good enough. That's not what our club has been about in the last 20 years. And, it's not good enough. We said, okay, we're out of Europe. We'll focus on the league. Well, that's not going very well, is it? But I just think that, firstly, Pochettino was set up to fail big time. And secondly, he just hasn't helped himself, because I still think that this squad shouldn't be 11th. Regardless of how young they are, how inexperienced they are, I still think that there's so much more that you could have done. And he hasn't made it easy. Like, Don will agree, he's played so many players out their positions. He's played centre-backs at full-backs. Yes, I know they've been injured for the majority of the season, but, Ian Maatsen was a left-back. Yeah, okay, he wasn't physical. He probably wouldn't have dealt well with the Prem's wingers, but he's still a left-back. But he'd rather start a centre-back that's basically young and inexperienced, like Levi Colwill. Yeah, he's a good player, but he's not a left-back, and he's still not the best centre-back he can be. So how is he already meant to cope with that? And then obviously Malo Gusto, I think he's been well, but he also started ahead of Ian Maatsen, didn't he, Don? Like, the first game that Maatsen played was as a winger when he started. And I just think Poch
killed him. He set him up to fail, bro.
He has set him up to fail. And that's why I think we haven't seen the best of Levi Colwill. Why did Liverpool claw for him last summer? They even wanted him this January. He's a bright, talented player. He was so good for Brighton. But I just think Poch doesn't really know what to do with these players. And I think it's going to come to a point where they don't really believe that we're headed in the right direction. And yeah, but I look upstairs. This is why I've been Pochettino in probably later than, or for longer than other fans have been, because I just look at upstairs. I think if you got one appointment wrong, you sacked Tuchel, there was never really a plan B to that. They just wanted to erase everything that was left of Abramovich, start a clean slate. Nobody from the club that was the old regime, start from a clean slate, do everything their own way, but they didn't know what they were doing. Todd Bowley, when has he ever, run a football club, owns a football club, yet he's starting to look around for managers and knows who the best manager is going to be for this project? Like, none of it makes sense. And then, okay, he put his hands up, got it wrong with Graham Potter, but then what was the best next thing to do? Yeah, let's bring in Frank Lampard. He's going to be great. The fans are going to love him. Buy ourselves some time to bring the right manager in. But yeah, I mean, I was fooled too. I can't say I didn't want Pochettino. I liked what he was about, Tottenham or not. I didn't really care about that, because at the end of the day, he's got a good reputation for working with young players, but at the moment, he's not living up to that at all. So,
Facts.
yeah.
A fantastic breakdown, in my opinion, because it is multi-layered. Of course it is. It isn't just, and I wanted to throw this stat out there before everyone else jumps in and gives their opinion. And where Poch has got to take a chunk of the blame, there's no doubt. But this stat came out today that shows 23 games played by Potter versus 23 games that's been played by Poch. One, Potter got an additional point. He didn't have any preseason, didn't get any of his own sort of players. And this isn't a defense of Poch in any capacity, but it demonstrates a deep-rooted problem that currently exists at Chelsea, that it hasn't really improved at all, Don. The football may have looked a little prettier, but in the end of the day, you've been in this situation for 18 months with no real movement forward after investing the best part of £1 billion.
Yeah. It hasn't got any better, man. And listen, everything that Nina said, I've been saying the exact same thing. There's not one person to blame. Everyone takes blame here. The ownership, the players, like I said, and Poch as well. I don't know why you're pulling those faces, Kunde, because I've been saying the same thing consistently, right? Just because you don't think that we haven't got good players in this team doesn't mean I should agree with you. Because yesterday we had Nkunku on the pitch, we had Palmer on the pitch, we had Enzo on the pitch, we had Caicedo on the pitch. And like Nina's saying, I'm still not seeing no patterns of play. I'm looking at a team that just look lost. A team that is lacking ideas, a team that's just trying to freestyle. And a big part of that is because of how structurally we're being set up. It's no coincidence. I said this earlier on Saeed's channel. It's no coincidence that Liverpool put 4 past us the other day. It's no coincidence that Man United had their best performance this season was against us. Liverpool's first half, that was your best half that you've had this season, Hussam. That was against us. Newcastle battered us. Right? That's on the coach. That's on the manager. We're not playing well at the moment. And like I was saying, even though we were the most informed team over December and we picked up the most points, I kept coming on here and saying more bad than good. I said, these wins are not sustainable because this man is still doing crazy stuff. Still playing multiple guys out of position when there's guys fit. Still bringing on the wrong subs. Still telling Enzo to leave Caicedo alone and leave him in Poch's Island. I call it Poch's Island now, by the way. Poch's Island is in the middle of the pitch where Caicedo is left by himself. And all of a sudden, Caicedo seems to have 8 legs, apparently. Yeah? Against Liverpool. He leaves him there by himself. Just deal with it by yourself, Caicedo. Let them all run at you, and you can do it all by yourself. Yeah? Same thing happened again yesterday. I'm seeing Caicedo being isolated time and time and time again. So for me, like I said, officially, I am now Poch out. Because this man is not changing anything.
You don't
This
mean
man is not changing anything. He's consistently doing the exact same things. And the only reason why I didn't say it earlier, like I've said 1,000,001 times, is because we had 1,000,000 injuries, But now he's got key players back like Nkunku. Nkunku yesterday barely did anything, bro, because he wasn't getting any chances to him. And a big part of that was starting Gallagher in that hole. You took Gallagher off last game, right, at half-time. When managers make subs at half-time, they messed up. They're thinking, right, I need to make it right. He made 3 subs against Liverpool, Gallagher being one of them. Carney comes on, plays really well, gets an assist for Nkunku. The next game, he's dropped again. Guess who's back on the pitch? Gallagher. Doing nothing, running about doing nothing, right? And I'm not saying that's the reason why
you call Gallagher.
And I'm not saying
XL
bully. George, don't interrupt him. Let him just land everything.
I did call him an XL bully, and you're gonna have people in the chat rivals saying you're scapegoating Gallagher and this, that. No one's saying that. We lost yesterday because of Conor Gallagher. But end of the day, when we don't play him in that role and we play someone that's actually got a quick thinking brain as a 10, when you're playing as an attacking midfielder, you need to be decisive in your decision making. You need to be quick on your feet. Gallagher is not that, but this guy's trying to build the team around him. When we don't have him on the pitch, we play better as a team. I'm sure you guys have seen multiple examples now of Gallagher breaking down our attacks. I've been saying this from last year, bro. I wanted this guy out. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me right now, this guy is killing himself. He is killing himself with the constant poor in-game management, the constant poor lineups, the excuses. He came out the other day and had the cheek to say that the fact that we conceded first rattled us pretty much. We didn't concede first. We scored first against Wolves. And this man literally came out saying that we conceded first. That's the reason why we was rattled. And that's the reason why we played the way we did. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of these excuses because these players are not bad players. And the perfect example to give is Steven Gerrard, with Aston Villa. This man last season, Aston Villa on paper, if you look at their team, this guy had them 17th or 18th, whatever it was. And people were getting onto them. I said, bro, when you watch their games, they just look like they don't know what they're doing. This man is literally about to get sacked. And when he got sacked, what happened with Emery? Emery's now got them in European places. They're going to get top 6 this season. And people are asking about Aston Villa title challenges. This will be the same players, by the way, with a few additions here and there, right? This manager has been atrocious. He's been abysmal, in fact. And the sooner he goes, the better. Because I've got no confidence week in, week out. I can't predict games. Kunle, relax, bro. I can't predict games. Yeah, you've done a lot of talking. I've listened to you. You can talk after. Yeah, I can't predict games anymore because it's very unpredictable. You know, the players. There's no confidence in the players anymore because I don't know how they're going to be set up. As much as I believe that they're good players, it's a mess right now. It's an absolute mess, and he's created a lot of that mess himself. So he needs to go in it. But he's not going to get sacked. But he will get sacked eventually if this carries on. He will. So all the briefings that are coming out today, ignore them, innit? Because Potter was getting the same ones. Potter was getting the exact same ones. But yeah, man, that's
confirm. Wait, Chelsea fans confirm on that stat. Didn't Tuchel win like 10 of those 31 points anyway?
He got some of those points. He helped Potter this season. Yeah.
No. What the stat on the screen was what Potter won. It was the total points last year.
23 games.
Yeah, so that was the 23 games that Potter managed.
Okay.
In the league. Guys, I want to throw something out there that's come out this afternoon. I think this is important when talking about Chelsea's overarching problems. Matt Hughes from the Daily Mail has reported that Chelsea, one of the reasons why Chelsea are fearful of sacking Poch is that they believe it would cost them around 10 million to dismiss him. And they believe that's going to put them closer to potentially breaking financial rules with the Premier League. And with all the other stories that came out the back end of last week that you guys are sailing very close to the sun when it comes to that, is it not? Could that be a reason that he ends up staying? Because you're just at a point where you can't keep sacking managers and spending how you've been doing and losing income from no Champions League, no European football, etc. Because you're burning the candle at both ends. Sure, like that, Nino, from my outside looking in, I know a lot of Chelsea fans are playing down the financial stuff like there's nothing to look at. But every single football financial expert in the world is saying that's a crazy notion to follow.
Terry, you're right. I'm the first person to love to banter Chelsea on these financial issues, but they somehow rise up 115 million in player sales every season. I don't know how they do it. They have so many players, young players especially, like Conor Gallagher, Broha, and all these guys that they just sell every single year. If it was any one of us, our other clubs, maybe Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, or even Tottenham, we wouldn't be able to generate that kind of player sales. But they just have such a good wealth of young players that people actually are interested in buying, that somehow they're going to sell off 4 players and make up 100+ million easy.
Good discussion
about Nina, do you think that? Do you think you will be able to sell players, raise the money, and avoid FFP and profit and sustainability regs?
No. Which players are we going to sell to do that? We can barely sell for pure profit. Like none of our youth players, we tried with Breuer, potentially with Gallagher as well. That's all pure profit, but there's not a market for them. No one will pay 50 million, not even 40, maybe not even 30. Obviously, Breuer's gone on a loan, but the best workout scenario for that was to sell him. But what's 10 million right now? If that's the case, what is 10 million? If we can pay 115 million for players, then I don't see that as a problem, really, personally. But yeah, look, I mean, we almost celebrated the fact that Todd found all the loopholes there was last season. Like we were happy about that, Don. Like, disagree with me if you think that, but to bring in the players that he did, we were all excited about it. But now it's going to backfire. There's consequences for every decision you make, and at least we could have backed it and said, well, it's working out on the pitch, so we'll deal with that. But it's not. So we're looking at a loss on the pitch, and we're looking at a loss financially as well.